What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. You can keep your well coaches. I love y'all, but you can keep them over there. You can keep all the other wrestling pages. This right here is the absolute best one. What is going on, everybody? It's the Royal Rundown right here on the fastest growing YouTube page in all of combat sports to scrap news. I am one half of your host and duo, Serg Vicente. Joining me as always is my sister from another Mr. The wrestling savant herself, Miss Dre Day. Miss Dre, what is going on?
Man, what up? I'm trying to live up to the titles, man. I'm trying to live up to
Look,
the intro.
well, check it out.
Amazing.
I know, like I said, usually we come on Tuesdays. Usually we here with y'all every week, but you know what? Life happens. Unfortunately, we weren't here with y'all last week. Dre was out here on the West Coast, doing work things. But she's back. She's doing her thing, and check it out, Dre. We are
Yes.
in the midst
Mm.
of Tripp's first WrestleMania. We are 2 weeks out. It is right there. The Mania.
We can see it.
We can see it. Before we even jump into all that, though, everybody who's watching live, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the fastest YouTube page in all of combat sports, to Scrap News, if you want the absolute best in combat sports media. Not having, talking about nonsense, not making up stories. We're talking about fantastic quality journalism, breakdowns of up and coming fighters, talking about all of the smaller organizations out there. Please do yourselves a favor. You want top prospects, everything. Check out the Scrap News today. Like, share, and subscribe to that. And also like, share, and subscribe, and tell people about the award-winning Royal Rundown. Make sure you do yourselves a favor and watch the best show in all of pro wrestling. All right. With that being said, watch the Fight Podcast. There we go. All right. You know what I'm saying? Little yin and yang action.
Here it is. Here it is.
Hey, look, we got different colored mugs. You see that? So we got black mugs,
That's
we got
variety.
white mugs. They look fantastic.
Sizes are different. It's
Created by
amazing.
they're absolutely fantastic. Please go ahead, if you want one of those, go to etsy.com/shop/the Fight Pot Shop. Copy yourself one today. All right. Dre, in the world of pro wrestling and the pro wrestling and sports entertainment, we have been gearing up. And we have been gearing up for Mania. And oh my Jesus.
Not the Lord. Okay.
The Bloodline. It seems like each and every week they go out there and outdo themselves. Every week it seems like it is a little bit more. Can they outdo themselves? It is, again, y'all can keep Days of Our Lives. This is absolutely the best soap opera on television right now.
It's giving Young and Restless. Yeah, it is.
Oh, Young and the Restless, whatever all them things are, you need to go out there and do yourself a solid. It's serious when the WWE produced a 2.5 hour drama of the entire Bloodline saga, and it said to this point. That means they have 2.5 hours worth of content, and that's with them editing shit out. People, it is incredible. So, Dre, this is where I want to start the show today, and I really need to ask him about, because again, we're talking about something that has essentially lasted for 3 years. We're talking about a 3-year, going on a 3-year title reign, going on 1,000 days. The Usos have had their titles for damn near 2 years. Sami Zayn, Sami Uso, Kevin Owens. I mean, I could even go back and talk about RK Bro. We almost forget about what RK Bro had done with this, with the Bloodline, and so on and so forth. Solo Sikoa, everything is going on. Drew McIntyre. We can think all the way back to when Dom, my boy Dom, was sitting there side by side with his pappy. Okay? We had all of those things. Dre.
Yes.
Is this the greatest storyline in pro wrestling history?
Yes. And I mean, that's the shortest answer. It's the easiest answer. It's the right answer. It's yes. There's so many things that kind of go into this. It's everything wrestling storytelling wise you could ever do right, wrapped up into one storyline, not to mention with likable characters, relatable characters, and then talent who are performing these characters at a top-notch, genuinely believable level. The one thing about wrestling and storylines, especially in WWE or WWF, whatever you remember watching, and everywhere, technically from back in the day, sometimes they'll try to do a serious storyline, but the acting is not always on point. And that's kind of always what's kind of taking it away and keeps you from suspending your disbelief.
That's always the case. Let's be real. There's a reason why there's only 3 guys that have been able to transition into acting. There's DJ himself. There is John Cena himself. Two of the GOATs. And then honestly, the guy who might be the best actor of all of them, Batista.
Yes. And let's be clear. And to add to that point, I think that, we have to mention those 3 men, because out of those 3, the one that was in the business the shortest amount of time, Dave
was
Bautista.
The Big Goose.
No, Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista was, let me take that back. The one that was on the top of the card for the shortest amount of time, because he was there with a long time, but he was at the top of the card for a short amount of time, relatively short amount of time, right?
Give me what I want, Hunter. Yes.
But the point is, that was a comeback. That was a comeback, right? That was his Rock comeback or whatever, right? My point is, Rock and Cena. We got to give it to the biggest oops first. Rock was the first one to do it successfully. Hulk Hogan did some movies, he was trash.
Look, we are not
Roddy Piper did. We're not fans of
dude, but you cannot tell me Tropic. What is it? Not Tropic Thunder. Wasn't Paradise? What was that called? That show?
Why do we even care?
Because it was fantastic. I watched the shit out of that show as a kid.
What show are you talking about? Oh, look,
you don't remember that? What's it called in Paradise? Oh my God! It was the.
Please Google it.
I'm gonna find it. Yes, continue. I'm gonna find it.
I do have a vague memory in my brain of Hulk Hogan on a jet ski for no reason. So maybe.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was a speedboat.
So it's probably a speedboat, right? Whatever. Hulk did movies. He wasn't good at it. Roddy Piper did a couple of movies and things, and fine. Bret Hart tried
Thunder in Paradise.
Did Thunder in Paradise? Okay. Bret Hart tried to, not so much. So Dwayne Johnson is the first successful professional wrestler to come into acting, and the point I'm trying to make here is, Rock did it, but when he first started acting, he wasn't very good. Now we give Rock, we got to give him every prop. He
wasn't very good. I mean, we act like he's a superstar now. I mean, he was ass then. He's slightly better now.
You and I differ. I think he's good now, but that's just me. You don't have to like the movies, but
you know
he's
what?
Good in
the last season of Ballers, I give
the
it to
whole
you,
season, all of Ballers. What are you talking about?
No. Season 1 was terrible.
Lies.
The rest of the season 1 was awful. All it did was objectify women. That is all season 1 did. After that, they really.
You gonna tell me professional athletes don't do that?
But there can be more than just objectifying. I don't want to just see it, and that sounds crazy. How
am I the woman defending Ballers?
I am not trying to sit here and just see titties on my screen every 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
How am I the one defending the season 1 of Ballers out of the 2 of us right now? I love Serg. I'm not mad at it. I'm not gonna knock that, but I'm just saying, Ballers was my show. That was one of my shows.
Me too. That was my show. It was mine too. But season 1 was terrible.
Fine, whatever. My point is, now I gotta go
why
watch season 1 of Ballers.
David Washington act? I'm sorry.
That's a lie. Lies you tell. There's better movies he needs to be in. His agent needs to do better with picking the joints. But no, I'm not talking. We're not doing that. No.
He's not the pappy.
No one is. Who's gonna be the pappy? Do you know who is? There's no way. That's unfair. No.
There's Rey Mysterio and Dom. Wow. There's Denzel Washington and Buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No. And John David called me. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is,
that's your way. I see that.
That is not why. The man is a good actor. Forget what you. I don't want to hear it. None.
All lies.
No.
Continue.
The point I am trying to make is that we got to give it up to DJ because he actually improved in his acting. So Cena,
all jokes aside, DJ can act. Yes, he can.
Cena was terrible at first. If you see that first,
the Marine, ooh.
Good God, and he is drastically improved, right? Because his improvements
Dude.
spectrum was much longer. Dave
Have you
Bautista
ever
jumped
seen Blockers?
dog. Look,
Yeah.
I watch all terrible movies. I watch, especially if there's a wrestler involved, I'm in. I don't care. That's my popcorn movies. I'm down. But
Absolutely.
my point is, you got to give Dave Bautista credit because like he came out the gate acting well, like, and then just got
Seriously.
better, and then just got better,
Yeah.
and he went a different. And I do appreciate that. Yeah, he did. He
Yeah.
does the muscle action, movies and stuff too. But then he also does like the real dramatic he does other things. He's very much stretching himself acting wise, and if you ever hear him talk about it, that's very purposeful, and that's really dope.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
bring this back around to the Bloodline storyline though, in wrestling and storylines in general, you would have to, if you are a wrestler today, right, or you're a wrestler in the last 10 years, even in the last decade, and you see what your predecessors have done, specifically those three, right? You know that now as a wrestler, even if you don't have aspirations to go to Hollywood, you still have to tell stories in the ring on your job every day. So to me, as a whole, everyone's acting has just elevated in general. Like everyone, no one, we're not saying everybody's an Oscar award nominating person, but there's just been a thing in the last 10 years where I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that these wrestlers and these talents have seen their predecessors and they're like, I probably should figure out something to do after I can't do this no more, because slamming myself on this mat every night is really not conducive to health in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So the ones that are very good at it, you can tell that they actually work at it, is my point. And the Bloodline storyline to me is just a perfect storm of a bunch of things. And you have to give it up to every single character in it because they're playing their roles to a point where you believe this. Non-wrestling fans can follow this story and be like, I get it. I'm into that. So it's
1000%.
just real.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really, really cool to see just as a fan of wrestling, but then it's always cool to just see like where it can infiltrate other places.
Yes.
We should, at some point, I would love to talk about like who are the other really good wrestling actors, like actors who are wrestlers. They're not in acting right now, but who do you believe a lot? Xavier Woods is one that I believe every time he opens his mouth, and there's nuances in his face that he does that to me, if I was a casting director, I'd cast him in something. Who's another guy? That he's just
my
one
boy
of the first
Dom. He is getting so much better. I'm talking about, all jokes aside, Dom is getting better every single time he jumps. Like watching
that promo
him,
on Monday, that promo off with him and his dad on Monday was a point for me. I agree.
He's starting to, especially when you go back and listen to some of the conversations and the interviews that he had with his father, with his pops a couple years ago, and if them talking about, it'd be cool if one of them would turn, but they're like, who's going to do it? I don't know. We don't know if we want to do it at this point in time. So the fact that they do it, it means to tell me that Ray was like, okay, you're ready.
You're ready. Yeah.
You're ready. And now that they're, and it really seems like, and as silly as it is, he was sent away to summer camp. It looks like he was sent away to summer camp. Go play with these older kids that are going to help you really learn the way. And he's traveling. And one of the coolest things ever, they're saying that there is and you'd know this better than myself, the veterans hang out in one specific locker room, right? Away from the younger guys, right? Yeah. Away from the Usos and the New Day playing video games. You have the older guys in a whole different place. They said Dom used to hang over there and change with his dad in there and kind of be hanging out with Booker T and all them dudes over there. Now that he's on a different show, he's in the locker room with the young guys having a blast and kicking it. And he's now officially one of the guys. But one thing you're seeing with him in there is really the growth of his acting. But I'm telling you right now, nobody in the WWE has grown in terms of performance and acting, none other than my brother, Main Event Jey Uso. Main Event, one time for the one. All right. Jay is going out here and giving us. People were talking about Sammy. Oh, Sammy is killing that. Only reason Sammy was able to kill it is because he had the right dance partner, and Jey Uso understood the assignment, and he is knocking it out of the park. And then let's not forget, and you are the one who've always said this, Jimmy. You're talking about the nuances, right? The facial expressions, the when these dudes,
when to look up, when to look up, when to look over, when not
everything.
to, or even better, and you live with an actress, so you know
I
what's
do.
going on, like
I do.
when to not,
Yeah.
which is that self-control. And there's so many, we're big nerds, so we're really watching this stuff and like
Absolutely.
but when you go back and watch again for like the nuanced performances, Jimmy and Jay, like as a unit, are fantastic. And Solo said, hold up, my turn on Monday. He's really good on the mic, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
If you watched Impact of it, you would have saw that. But
yes.
If you watch NXT when he was on there, you would have seen that. So we know it's in there right now. He's kind of like the silent assassin type thing, which is great because we know it's coming.
He's playing Umaga.
Yeah, which is great because it's coming. There's like a simmering underneath, and one of the I think that
respect to the dead.
Right, absolutely. And what I think is really cool, we've said this the entire time, is that there's so many different ways that they can go with this storyline. Is that there was so many, we didn't know exactly who was going to do what, when, and whatnot. But every time they've introduced like a new piece and a new layer. So like on Monday Night Raw, when they introduced the whole, Roman kind of berating Solo, and Cody, they used Cody to do that, which I thought was great, right? Because that ups the ante of that match. That match is already up here, right? On terms of like high level undisputed championship WrestleMania main event night 2, right? It's already up there. Yeah. They could do nothing. They can go to sleep and wake up at Mania and wrestle, and we'd still be up for
it. We'd be totally fine. Yeah.
But instead, they're like, no, we're gonna use Cody to insert some more dissent. There's already dissension in the bloodline. We're gonna use Cody to insert some more, and use Solo, which I love, which I think is great because that means. We've been so, I don't want to say spoiled, but we've been so spoiled with Triple H at the head of creative, because it feels like it really does feel like they're just taking every mistake and every complaint about storylines not making sense, storylines not dovetailing into one another, booking from one pay-per-view to the other and not caring about what's going to happen afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And they've taken all of that. They've trickled it throughout the whole show. We're talking about the Bloodline mad heavy right now, but it's trickled into other pieces and other storylines. But like this one, it is about 3 different storylines in one. If you really think about it, this thing could break off into 3 or 4 other feuds after Mania, which is great.
And they're setting it up, which is incredible. So they have never set it up prior to it. Like you said, you hit Solo. You're talking about Solo specifically, right? Cody Rhodes telling them that, look, man,
you're not ready, bro.
I know what it's like being a second generation superstar when flanking the champion. He was talking about himself flanking Randy Orton, another second generation champion, just like Roman Reigns. Very similar.
Come on, nuance.
Even. What? Like I love the nuance. I love how they're showing that, and for him to be able to go out there, and and again, everybody out there, they are all they must be in acting classes with DJ or something. Like, because the entire bloodline is going out there and they're really, and again, that's what makes it good. If they weren't acting in the way that they are, this wouldn't be as good as it is. No. Every week, you don't know what's going to happen. The writing is fantastic. And especially when we know they're freestyling half the time, which makes it even more, impressive. They out here all day Jay-Z. Like, they just out there just spitting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm telling you, they go there killing it. So you have them doing that, which I think is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's great to watch. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, but let's not forget, none of this happens without the Big Goose, and I'm talking about Roman. The head of the table is going out here, and he is absolutely crushing it. And one thing is, if you're looking at Roman, and one of the reasons, this storyline is the greatest story to start off with our question. Why is this the greatest storyline of all time? In my opinion, this is the greatest storyline of all time because of who it is elevated. I can go down the list. RK Bro, it elevated them to a level that that we have never, that we didn't. Randy Orton was always a star. Randy Orton was a bigger star than he ever was because of the bloodline, realistically. And he was
And
loved. He was
dare
actually
I
a face. That
say,
never happens. I'm sorry, please.
and dare I say, he, a critique of his is that he was also, although he's always been a star, he's always been a little boring. And then
But being with him
that's a
and
critique of
Riddle,
his.
and again,
That was a
absolutely.
critique. I'm not
Yeah,
saying I agreed with that, but I think
yeah,
at times, anyone can, at times, but then you throw him with
absolutely.
Riddle and then you give them a good foe. And that's what the Usos and the Bloodline have done to a few folks.
I'm
To a
and
few
let's
folks.
continue. Let's
Yeah.
keep going down the list. I mean, Sami Zayn. For those who know
My dude.
hardcores, everybody's always appreciated and loved Sami Zayn, right? We know he can do things. And think about Sami Zayn from going and being a perennial mid-carder. Let's just be very honest. While he's been in the main, not with NXT, but I'm talking about when he was with the main roster. He's able to go over here being somebody that's literally playing around with Jackass, right? Doing things over there. Granted, it worked. Silly, goofy wrestling for the win. I understand. But you took him from being a perennial mid carder to people that people are legitimately talking about should carry the titles and be the face of the company. That is
Yeah.
because of the bloodline. Kevin Owens elevated to a bigger star because of what's going on in his interactions with the bloodline. Jimmy and Jay Uso are the most popular tag team in all of pro wrestling. I love FTR. You know I love FTR. You know I love the New Day. You know I love the Lucha Bros. None of them are popping right now like the bloodline are popping. Okay. Like it is what it is. It is fantastic. So I look at it and I take of who they have elevated, the performances that they have, and dude, please, people, do me a favor if you haven't already, and you got about 2 hours, you want to watch a movie. WWE literally has the Bloodline Saga till like this weekend.
They have the movie.
It's 2.5 hours. You got some wrestling. You got all the major segments, literally from the very beginning when Roman comes in. And first of all, Roman is jacked now, but when he came back from the pandemic,
It was
Jesus,
it was real
my man
dumb.
was out here like, wrecking
It was
everybody
real
on
dumb.
leave for real. So he's coming there, y'all just mad brolic, right? Crazy. So, somebody's here. Hey, Lee, what up, my brother? What is it?
What up,
Brawling
Lee?
Brutes and made you know what? Very true. They made the Brawling Brutes somebody. They made us remember how dope Sheamus was. None of this with Sheamus and Drew would be happening if it wasn't for the bloodline. Like, let's keep it a
That's a
buck.
great example
Okay.
of a dovetailing storyline. So yeah, you lose
Exactly.
against Roman or whatever, but you got to do feud with these two people, and they about to have a fly ass triple threat with Gunther. Excuse
I'm
me,
telling you.
that's
Come
gonna
on.
be wonderful. Big
It's
meaty
going to be
man
absolutely wonderful, to
doing
the
the
point that
things.
even though I think Gunther is phenomenal, and maybe
Yes,
you even keep Gunther having it, man, I don't know. Some Sheamus, man. Sheamus has been like the unsung hero of 2022 leading into 2023. I would not be mad if they gave that to Sheamus, being
that's a
honest, and allowed, because then what I would like to see, let's see Gunther go after the titles, the major titles, if
yes,
that's the case. It's
yeah.
time.
That's one of those, that triple threat is one of those. It's my favorite type of matches. It's
I
we
love it.
actually don't know who's going to win this because it could be any one of them for three completely different reasons, right? Gunther's been a great champion. Keep
Same
it
thing
on.
that the NXT is doing right now with Wes.
Oh, well, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. American title. Absolutely. Like, it's
yep,
just one of those things where it's,
they bust out Dragon Lee this week, and I was so happy to see Dragon Lee there. First of all,
yes,
Dragon Lee should be on the main roster. People, he has no business
Cole.
being down there in NXT. Dragon Lee, you could throw him in there right now, and literally, you can. I hate to say this because I love me. I love Santos and his squad, right? One of them dudes in this team, I can't remember buddy's name. Take him out, plug Dragon
No,
Lee in, have
just
him be a
add him
part of the crew.
in or or
Fuck it,
have him
add him
be a
in.
foe or have him be a foe.
Even better, have him be a bad guy
That's better.
wrecking them. I'm even happier with that.
I will say this though about NXT. I think we have to remember that they do, like, although we think of NXT as the I don't want to call it the B show, but as like a place to be elevated from. You have to remember that corporately they think of it as the third brand. So you get a I'm gonna use it like it's an NBA. You get a draft pick like Dragon Lee. You put him on the roster where he's needed the most.
And he's needed the most there because as of right
Yeah.
now, especially because you can absolutely tell Carmelo Hayes is about to come get called up.
Like, is he
Wes, I
though?
think,
Because
is also going to.
I
I think
genuinely
so.
think that I think they're going to give him the title and they're going to move up Braun. That's what I think.
I can see that. You know what's
Because
crazy
Braun
though?
is a trip. I think Braun Breaker's got that second generation thing going on too for the Steiners. I also think that
He's
Braun
just
is
not
more of
good to
a
me.
he.
I think he's going to
Opinions aside,
be a fantastic. If anything, he is no at this present moment in time. He's better suited staying at NXT because he is no better than
please with
Nick
me.
Carter. He's
I agree.
not
I
better than
agree.
LA Knight.
No,
He's not better than even
he's
what's
not.
his name that they're not getting any love with. What's his name? He comes in there black and white with his wife. Um uh he comes in, the screen turns black and white. Uh
I'm just gonna call him his other
yeah,
name,
he
Karrion Cross.
comes
I
carrying
was gonna call
cross.
him, yeah.
Carrying cross is better than Braun Breaker could even dream of,
Oh,
even at this present moment.
damn, not
Dude,
that dreamer.
Ali.
I agree though. Well,
Ali
Ali's
is
better than
better.
a lot of people.
But you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. But yeah, you
Ali's
put
better than a
Cross in
lot of
them,
people.
like, dude, so
But
like
that
I don't. I think
so
it's a
we
waste
agree.
to
No,
come up personally.
we completely agree.
Yeah,
My thing is, we agree, but we still have to remember. Like, I'm thinking in WWE brain, and yes, even without Vince McMahon, I absolutely can see them giving Hayes the title because I don't think he's had that title
because
yet.
he
He's had the
deserves
North.
it.
He hasn't
Yeah,
had the. So he's had the A champ, but he hasn't had the big
yeah.
one at NXT. They're gonna give Carmelo that moment. Plus, Shawn Michaels loves him, and of course he would because
Yo,
it's
Shawn
one of his
Michael like
sons.
him some
Because
like
that's
hey
one of his sons.
he like him some black dudes. I'll tell
He
you,
likes
man. Every
the.
time I look over, he
You
like
mean
every black dude.
the athletic joints with the
The
charisma and the sass and all and everything he was in the night? Come on, bro. Like,
all of his sons. Like I've heard him
I
talk
call it the
about.
sass. I didn't mean to call it sass, but you know what I mean with the swag
Okay,
and the
little swag, little ass, whatever we
little
want to say.
sass. That's fine. Some people might not like that. Lord Jesus, don't let me roll my eyes too hard.
Not on this show. I don't care.
Thank
You know what
Alfred.
I'm
You know
saying?
what? You're
We
right.
don't play that.
This our show. Sass. That's what I
Exactly.
said.
Exactly.
Um,
Say it with your chest. I ain't even mad at it. Hey, it's
can you hear
wrestling.
me? I lost you, Serge.
Oh, you lost me. I don't
Oh no,
think you
that's
lost
me.
me.
That's me. That's all
Yeah.
me.
Okay, about to say, you talk about like we talking about pro wrestling. Dudes wear pink trunks with hearts on the booty. Like if you say sass, it's totally fine.
Like, bruh, like get the hell over yourself. Well, my point is, yes, I think Carmelo. Um, I don't think Sean wants to get rid of Melo because he likes working with them, and I'm not
Yeah,
mad at that. I think Melo deserves kind of like Solo too, because
to be
even
in
though
the hurt
Solo
business. Yes,
shit. I think Solo deserves his time in the sun as the top guy on that brand. And I would rather him be the top guy on a brand than come up and get lost into some shuffle
another guy.
somewhere.
I
Right.
hear
Get
you
lost into some shuffle
because he
somewhere. Same thing
can
with Drag.
definitely be
And I feel that way
because
about Dragon Lee too. Sorry. I feel
oh
that way about
no,
Dragon Lee
you're
too. That
right.
introduce the audience to him because we know him, but not everyone does. And he's a great introductory space for someone like that.
Well, Stand and Deliver, it's going to be a fantastic introduction for Dragon Lee because I don't see him. They're probably going to make Wes retain,
Yeah.
but
Maybe.
I think it's going to be a coming out party for Dragon Lee. I think they're going to be they're going to show like, look, this dude can cook
Yeah.
because he absolutely can. I'm telling you, you guys already know if you watched any of the 46 episodes of this fantastic show, you would know the type of guys that I like. I like guys who can work. I like the athleticism. I am not a fan of the standard WWE style wrestler. I like
Except when they're Roman.
except for the tribal chief himself, okay? The tribal chief, the goat. That's the only one, all right? But I think it's going to be fantastic. But in terms of, again, we are looking at because the WWE is sports entertainment, even more so than AEW. When I look at AEW, they're a professional wrestling organization. WWE is absolutely an entertainment. So these are guys that are a little bit more multifaceted, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So you're having some of that in there, but what we're seeing with the Bloodline right now is, I mean, I always laugh hearing people talk about like, oh, I'm tired of Roman winning. I'm tired of Roman winning. Enjoy this while we can,
I've
because at the
never
end of the
heard
day,
anyone say that. Well, not
yes, we have.
recently. Not recently, I
Infamous
should
group
say.
chat. Come
Oh,
on,
I be,
come on.
yeah,
We have heard it before. Uh, so yeah, we ain't gonna trip. All right, I ain't putting nobody out there.
shouts
New
to them.
Hurt Business, Lashley method. You keep Trick out of there, and I'm here for it.
No, I love Trick. Actually, I don't want them. I don't want New Hurt Business. I don't.
I
I
don't
want
know.
regular Hurt Business. I want Cedric Alexander because he deserves. I want what?
I got something. So Mania's coming up.
Shelton Benjamin.
What's his name? No, Goofy dude with the mask, whatever the fuck his name is, who comes in here with the clown show, and then he comes in with the spooky wookie.
Oh, Bray Wyatt.
Him, yes, Wyndham Rotunda, yes, Wyndham.
How did you
So
forget? You know you love that name,
yeah,
Wyndham
Wyndham
Rotunda.
Rotunda, yes. So Wyndham is ill. Hope he gets better. Wyndham,
Yeah.
feel better soon.
Shout out.
And it doesn't seem like Bobby Lashley has something. I'll be honest with you.
First wrestler that I shook hands with, by the way, when I was
Bobby or
in grad
Wyndham?
school. Wyndham, Bray Wyatt, and full Bray Wyatt. You know, preacher
Is he a
Bray.
nice guy at least?
Very, extremely
You know
nice
what?
man.
I hate to say it. With a voice like that, he sounds like somebody. When you get talking like this and you get to do,
You know
he
how
seems like he could just be a good dude.
you know the country whites, the ones with the good sense, they're not that far off from the rest of us. The nice ones, I said,
Very true.
the ones with the good.
No, I heard what you said. You said the ones with the
that
good
far.
sense.
With the good
Yes,
sense.
yes.
They're not that far off from us.
But look, I think that what they're doing is phenomenal right now. And they, in my opinion, look, we can go through, and the reason, and I'll finish this portion of it with this. The reason that I say that this is the greatest storyline of all time is because this is a storyline that has spanned 3 years. This isn't a storyline, for instance, like some of the other ones. We saw NWO and DX fight when they were like 50. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's about, like, we talk about this in combat sports, we see, especially with boxing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the world of boxing, we're like, people a lot of times miss the mark on, you know, when these events are supposed to happen. Prime example, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. It was far past his expiration when that actually happened. You know, Terrence Crawford, you know, and Errol Spence. It's getting to the point it's past the expiration. This weekend, on the other hand, we have Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. Perfect timing. This is when this fight was supposed to happen. And this is what we're starting to see with this storyline. We're not waiting for it. Everything is happening right now. It is timely, and it's a fantastic thing to witness. People were saying, oh, like The Rock and Stone Cold. That's like on again, off again, on again, off again. And when I really think about it, it was only for like, think about it. This has already been half. Think about this. This storyline has been half of The Rock's WWE career. The Rock, you know what I'm saying?
No, for real though. Yeah.
Like I can't put The Rock in there because, dog, you was doing everything with all these other people. Literally, we've been on this same storyline for damn near as long as you're a professional wrestler. You know what I mean?
Haven't. The thing about the storyline, that is such a triumph. It is. It's such a triumph to have the storyline this long still be this popping, and them not, for lack of better terms, blow their load too early on certain aspects of it. Because that is, and again, I started our show when we talked about this part of it. This is a perfect storm of several things, you know, the talent being just a little bit more elevated and better, all around, not just in wrestling, but also in the character work.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the pandemic and the Thunderdome era to begin this was a blessing in disguise, because it was, and Jimmy being hurt in the beginning of it as well, because
it was a blessing, and that was a blessing.
That's part of the perfect storm, right? In terms of, because it kicked off in a really intriguing way, and then then Everyone wins their titles. Jimmy's on the board, blah, blah, blah. And then you throw the Sami Zayn thing in there that was only supposed to last for 5 seconds. And Vince McMahon is out. So now that 5 seconds turns into another year.
Bye, Baltimore.
It's just one of those things. Again, perfect storm, because this last year, this storyline was already really good. When they added the Sami portion and then decided to keep with it and stay with it, Cody Rhodes gets hurt. All of these things are part of the perfect storm, right?
Absolutely.
Like part of the perfect storm that allowed the storyline to simmer the way it did. And it was almost like these things. Unfortunately, some of them are bad, right? Cody getting hurt, bad, but bad. Vince leaves, you know what I'm saying? Leaves creative at least, right? Like these are all.
Boy, my boy Roman cooked him this week, boy. Woo.
All I'm saying,
man, you just ran away.
All I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I should say Cody leaving AEW and re-signing with WWE, and then, like, there's just so many pieces of this of like pieces that are very serious that would not have that are why this story is so good. Is because
absolutely
it's like they made the right decision at every turn so far, right? And some of those decisions were forced on them because of just what the situation was.
Absolutely.
And I think that's another reason why we have to give it its props as one of the best, if not the best storyline ever in professional wrestling, because we have watched really good storylines that had every ingredient you possibly can. You have the ingredients for a perfect pound cake, and you end up with in the invasion storyline of WWE, you know, at WCW. Like, what are we talking about? You know, and so
this is great.
It's really nice to see that they kind of, you know, it's like everybody worked to not make the same mistakes of the past. And it's like every cook in the kitchen is doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I mean, Cody kind of touched on it after Roman cooked him this past Monday. Roman really cooked him. Like, but Cody made a point afterwards. If it wasn't for Cody and his friends starting AEW, because of that, it has allowed everybody else to make more money. And that is an incredible thing. Now let's change gears. It's an incredible flex. It's an absolutely incredible. Like I
hate me, but you're making more money this year than you ever had because
of me. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, so salute to Cody, salute to the elite, salute to one of my favorites, the wrestling god, Kenny Omega. You know, hey, I have come around on that man.
Like, y'all watch these back. Watch back these episodes.
When I first saw Kenny Omega
pleading with Serg, like, no, dog, for real, he's really dope. You just gotta see. No, Serg, for real, like, bro, go back and watch a couple things. You
know what? For those who do not know, y'all want to know what got me on Kenny Omega? It was when I saw him cutting a promo in straight Japanese. I was like, whoa.
I was like, I was trying to tell you to clean it.
And now that he's in shape, that V trigger. Look, the V trigger is a way better move and finisher than the damn Kenny Omega's 2 finishing moves are far better than Roman's. I'll say that.
Yes.
The V trigger and the one-winged eagle
of the spear / Superman punch.
I don't like that, man. Nah. Like, could you imagine Roman doing the V trigger or the one-winged fucking angel on people?
Actually, yes, and that would be amazing.
Exactly. That's what he should be doing.
Please don't get me started on Forbidden Door shit that I wish could happen if WWE would play, because
that's why we need to get rid of. That's why Vince needs to get the hell up out of here, because I really believe that's where we were going with Trips. I think Trips is all about it.
That's 2 matches I would love to see: Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins, Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns. Those are 2 matches that need to happen before everybody.
I want UK Seth Rollins versus Seth Rollins.
Right. I mean, also
Will Ospreay versus
the Seth man.
Look, Seth Rollins. Come on.
I honestly want to see Seth Rollins fight like a little bit of everybody. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yo, you talk about another wrestling god, that's Seth
I
Rollins.
want to see
Seth
Seth
Rollins is
Rollins
that dude.
storyline.
But really quick, I want to talk about this before we get out of here. We're gonna have a few more minutes, and I do want to address this. We're talking about fantastic storylines,
Mhm.
and it's incredible because one of my top 3 favorite storylines of all time is Eddie, Ray, and Dom. The custody of Dominic Mysterio is one of the greatest storylines of all time. You laugh, but I'm telling the truth. It
Dead
is a
serious, y'all.
fantastic fucking storyline. It is fucking
Custody
great.
papers at the top. Wasn't it a ladder match too? Like just
It was
foolery.
also a ladder match. It
Was
was all the tomfoolery. And even having Eddie like reading the story, you know what I'm saying, about it. I gave my best friend my bambino, you know what I'm saying? Like all
oh
that shit, like
God.
my man was killing it, right?
Oh my
But I
goodness.
say that to say the bloodline is getting a lot of due right now, deservedly so,
Yeah.
because it is absolutely fantastic. Dom and Ray right now are cooking
Yeah.
people.
They turned
And
it up.
right now,
They
and
turned
not
it
only are they turning it up, we have always came at Dom because he in the ring, he just wasn't quite there yet.
up. Hmm.
Recently, he it seems like he's been hanging out with Finn Balor. That's what it looks like. And he is going in here and correct me if I'm wrong. And do you see this also? Dom in the ring and out of the like on the mic is absolute. I mean, y'all look at me crazy. He's the best heel in the WWE right now, which is crazy to say, but he is.
That's
Roman
because
and
he's
heel,
not.
man.
You're right. He's not counting Roman as a heel, y'all.
Roman and heel, yo. Roman's just that dude. He's the tribal chief. It's
Oh
different.
my gosh. Yeah.
Yo,
You,
yes,
yes.
yes.
That's
Eddie
what
at
you're
the
talking about when
takeout.
he's reading the
You
story.
you want a
Like,
Twizzler? Here, a Twizzler, Poppy. You're like, yeah. But they're killing it. What are your
uh,
thoughts on that storyline
I
right now?
have to. I can't mention this storyline without talking about. Can we talk about the turnaround of the Judgment Day? Like, did they save that or what?
Look,
Saved
man,
it.
when they first went
Saved it
out
from the
there,
pits of the
when,
fire. And it
when
was, I mean, and I was never a hater of it. Like, I know a lot of people wasn't feeling it. It did get a little silly. And I think it was, and even they kind of turned that corner with the silliness too, because 2 of your members are in kind of pretty heat-filled storylines now. So the whole
yeah,
so Finn
yeah,
and Damian Priest had to kind of like, all right, let's also match that same energy. Finn's about to go fight, and I think we're about to get the demon again. I can't
we are about to get the demon.
whatever new version of the demon that pops out of Finn's head,
Oh,
can't wait to see what that's gonna be like. Because
first of all,
it's not gonna have the Vince McMahon chains on it, amen.
exactly.
Um,
1000%. And
and
you know what?
so
I'm so happy that, we have the Judgment Day when they first came out there coming out looking like the House of Black and shit. I'm so happy that they finally switched that shit up. I
I
mean,
mean,
you know what I'm
that to me,
saying?
and like that's the cool thing about wrestling in that medium, right? You can change when it's not working, the audience isn't feeling you, or something's not working, or you see something on another brand that's got a little too close for comfort, you adjust. And like
Da-da-da.
that's the dopest part to me. Pro wrestling is just one of the coolest mediums because you can do that in real time.
I
Um,
cannot wait to see this. And literally to hear Edge sit there and say, you know what I need for this Edge? I need y'all to give Gangrel a call. I need to see Gangrel walk out with Edge. I need to see
can't
him.
have Gangrel without
I
having
need
Christian, and
I,
Christian works at the other place, bruh.
I need to see. I need to see him come out with it. Give me Brood Edge going out
Nah,
there against
one of
Demon Finn.
I
Come
need Edge
on.
to put some water on that hair next time he come outside to that ring because it be looking dry and it making me mad. But that's not
Wait. Who look dry? You
Edge.
said?
Edge needs to put
Oh
some
man,
water
Edge
on
look
that
like he
hair.
live in Florida or something. Like he look
Edge,
like
and
one of them white dudes that be outside too long.
I love Edge. That's my dog. I need you to throw some water on that hair before you walk outside on that ring, on that
Bro,
camera.
he need to get him some CeraVe, yo. Get you some
Some
CeraVe, you know what I'm
moisturizer,
saying? Some
something.
moisturize that face or something. Then go out there and put some fruits and berries in that joint. You know what I'm saying? You got to
Fruit,
keep the
berry,
skin
water, moisture,
moisturized.
something.
You see the glow, people? You see that? You got to, moisturize and
Something.
exfoliate. You know what I'm
Please.
saying?
Because
Come
Edge is
on,
too good.
son.
He's too good looking of a gentleman to be walking out there with the dry hair and trying to be somebody else. Anyway,
He got a wife. He don't care. He done.
he should. Have you seen his wife with her gorgeous self? Absolutely.
She obviously don't care either.
I mean, fair point. My point is you have to like the Dom and Rey Mysterio's storyline elevated with the whole Judgment Day thing, and we have to mention how how again everybody plays their part to up the ante for the storyline. Second of all, I completely agree with you. Dominic Mysterio, most improved of 2022-3. What, like, most improved easily. Like, he's far more believable now. He's having far more fun. You were always critiquing him heavy, and I was always like, get a boy a chance. It's like 2 years old, whatever. But
not now. That's my boy Dom.
He's also, thank goodness you ain't got me out here looking crazy for standing up for you, Dom, because it was always in there. You know what I'm saying? And you can kind of tell he's just far more comfortable. He's obviously doing work behind the scenes. It's obvious. Everything is obvious. And when you're having fun and you find your zone, I think he's found it. And now he gets to find his zone and up his ante with his pops. And I think that's a really, really, really cool thing that is going to happen at Mania. No matter
his dad's going to push him.
Yeah,
his dad's gonna push the shit out of him.
The best match he's ever had against his father.
Yo, honestly, we've been saying it that we believe that Seth Rollins and Logan Paul might be the match of the weekend.
Like the
show stealer. I'll be honest with you, Dom and Ray might end up being the show stealer.
There's a couple of show stealing options, though. That's another one. I also think Bianca and Rhea. I'm sorry. See, that's the match I wanted to see.
Yeah, but Bianca and Asuka. I mean, those are two. But that I feel like that just goes without saying. I think the buildup has been terrible.
Right, and that's the sad part. Like, they could really steal the show if they had a better story. But the match itself is going to the fans and the audience are going to forget that the buildup was terrible because Asuka and Bianca are going to make them.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be a great match. But those are like the show stealers, like the ones we've just listed to me. And then you can't that triple threat we just talked about with Gunther and Sheamus.
Another one possible show stealer. I mean, there are so many great matchups on this year's, WrestleMania here in LA. You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna be at Mania? No, I'm gonna be in my house, COVID free. Like, keep all that shit out there. Like, I ain't gonna be in there with the madness.
Got the cooties. I'm gonna be inside.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly how I feel about it. I might go to some events, but even still, I don't like being around people like that. But all in all, I think this build-up for Mania has been fantastic, minus the women. I'll be honest with you. A little disappointed in how that's coming to fruition. I also think that but I think that honestly, you know what? Be honest with you. Some of the ladies need to go to some of the whatever the Usos acting classes. Some of them need to go out there and do that because unfortunately, they just don't have that yet.
I agree. On top of the material they're giving is trash.
Both.
It is a compound. Like, you can't even get like, and
but you know what though? Also, hate to say this, they're just not performing. They're not doing because it gets to a point in time that as the talent, it is your job to get you over.
Yeah.
Prime example, Montez Ford does not get they just tell
they
him
give him
cook.
Dust and he's like,
this
cool, watch
man. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw him this week when he jumped in the crowd, knowing exactly when the commercial breaks will come. Jumps in there with two black people. He did it on purpose. Sapping, we'll be back after this commercial message.
I was like, give him every title, bro. Like, what are we doing? He's everything.
Yo, first of all, he would be an incredible champion. Oh my god, he is the face of the company. When he's gonna get it? He's gonna get it when that damn reality show starts with him and Bianca.
I can see that.
They're gonna give him a belt. They're absolutely gonna give him a belt of some sort in that time. All right, we got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
Before we get out, any other key points, notes, even if it's AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, anything you want to touch on?
So I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned Ring of Honor. I have not actually been watching the new Ring of Honor TV, but I've been watching synopsises of it. I'm going to start watching Ring of Honor. It seems it's kind of fly.
I just don't feel like paying the $10 a month for a membership. I pay for too many other subscriptions, but
I'm gonna do it, bro. And I'll be the Ring of Honor savant for
wait, time out. I got the New Japan subscription.
So we
why don't
I was not
password.
Why do that? You're not supposed to say it. We online, bro.
give a shit.
Why are you snitching? And
How is that snitching? This is my show.
The cops could be listening, bro.
Who won't trick? Who won't trick? They ain't Netflix.
You're right. You're right. We're gonna work that out.
They just happy that they're getting people watching.
True. We're gonna work that out. But yeah, Ring of Honor sounds like it feels like, I mean, it's always been a good show. Like, let's just be clear, it's never not been good. But like what they're doing with it, and like, you know, in terms of the new TV, it seems like there's some really good matches happening. There's some good stories happening. Shout out to Athena as the women's Ring of Honor champion. Like, that is it. Like, so that was 1, 2. AEW Dynamite's tonight. I'm about to go pop me some popcorn and watch that in about 45
Starts in about 45 minutes.
Gonna be amazing.
And that's why we want to get you guys out of here today.
And I just have
to watch that.
With that being said, I have a question for you.
Yes.
The streets is saying that Jay White from New Japan Pro Wrestling is a free agent. Do we think he goes to the E, or do you think he goes to AEW? Thoughts? Lee, go ahead and chime in here, bro. What you think?
I'll be honest with you.
Switchblade, Jay White.
He gets more play going to AEW. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid that there's just so much talent right now at the top of the WWE. I think, unfortunately, Jay White, you know, somebody who does not belong in NXT, they'd send to NXT. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they sent Finn, who is a better version of him, to NXT. They would absolutely send him to NXT. Let's just be very honest. I think he is better suited. He already has chemistry. He's already been there with the guys at AEW. I think he is far better suited being with AEW than anywhere else, personally.
I agree. I think that's a shoe-in singles match with Kenny Omega that I think everyone and their mama want to see.
It'd be fantastic. Oh my God, it'd be fantastic.
I also want to see Jay White versus Finn Balor.
I would love to see that. You know,
but that's just.
I would love to see it, but you know, Finn, like, there's so many guys. Like, I look at Finn. Oh, and also, Shorty G, my man needs a push.
Yeah, yesterday
he needs a push. He's incredible.
He's on the short list of Money in the Bank winners potentially for this year.
I can see it. Especially, there's something that'll happen with him because they're taking Omos from him in a way.
Mm-hmm. You mean
Otis from him in a way. So I would like to see that. But with that being said, that's about all the time we got for y'all today. We out. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you go out there, watch all the Fantastic Pro Wrestling. Please like, share, and subscribe to this wonderful channel right here, the Scrap News, the fastest growing YouTube page in all of combat sports media. Please check them out. If you're looking for the absolute best in combat sports media, look no further than the Scrap News. I mean, if you're looking for people who are looking for prospects, all the other things really breaking down combat sports, the Scrap News is it. Also, do me a favor, check out my page. Check out the Fight Podcast. As you see right over there, see in the corner over there, it says The Fight. Check out the Fight Podcast. Like, share, subscribe for that as well. Be kind to yourselves. Love each other. You know what I'm saying? Buy some merch. And as always, we're going to leave you with some wise words from my Puerto Rican brethren. Somebody whom I don't believe would ever pro wrestle, but from what I understand, back in the day, you wouldn't want to see him in the dark alley. He can squabble with the best of them.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price.